Arjuna Vacha, Drishta Vedamanusam Rupam Tava Saumyam Janardana Idanim Asmi Samrittaha Sachetaha Prakritim Gataha. Translation, purport, synonym by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Arjuna Vacha, Arjuna said, Drishtva, seeing, Idam, this, Manusam, human, Rupam, form, Tava, your, Saumyam, very beautiful, Janardana, O chastiser of the enemies, Idanim, now, Asmi, I am, Samvritaha, settled, Sachetaha, in my consciousness, Prakritim, to my own nature, Gataha, returned. Arjun said, seeing this human form, your very beautiful, O chastiser of enemies, now I am settled in my consciousness, to my own nature, return. Translation. When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, O Janardhan, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, I am now composed in my mind and I am restored to my original nature. Purport. Here the words of Manu, Sham, Rupam clearly indicate the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be originally two-handed. Those who deride Krishna as if he were an ordinary person are shown here to be ignorant of his divine nature. If Krishna is like an ordinary human being, then how is it possible for him to show the universal form and again to show the four-handed Narayan form? So it is very clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita that one who thinks that Krishna is an ordinary person and who misguides the reader by claiming that it is the impersonal Brahman within Krishna speaking is doing the greatest injustice. Krishna has actually shown his universal form and his four-handed Vishnu form. So how can he be an ordinary human being? A pure devotee is not confused by misguiding commentaries on Bhagavad Gita because he knows what is what. The original verse of Bhagavad Gita are as clear as the sun. They do not require lamplight from foolish commentators. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai. So when I was preparing for this verse and thinking about my realization, and then focusing on what Prabhupada is actually trying to give, or no, actually not trying, is giving a realization about, very nicely he says about Manusham Rupam, this Krishna original form. And the other thing which I was meditating on was last week, Purna Pragna Devi Mataji was telling about that this is the concluding part of this chapter, universal form. And now next chapter is devotional service. So when I was thinking, I said there's a purpose why devotional service is probably coming, why Krishna is going to talk about devotional service, and which is so important for devotees. Because devotees are actually for the devotional service. That's their love. So Prabhupada has highlighted about the people who actually don't believe who Krishna is and they cheat him by actually minimizing him. But what I was thinking on this verse is that what Arjuna was feeling when he saw Krishna's form and how he is giving his realization. So as Amrish Prabhu will always say that what do we learn from this verse? So I'll again quickly read. When Arjuna thus saw Krishna is in his original form, he said, O Janardhan, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind, and I am restored to my original nature. So that's Arjuna's relation. That's what we also try to do in whatever capacity, whatever situation we are into. That's why we engage into devotional service or whatever I'm doing. So that we can realize our original nature. We can actually enjoy Krishna consciousness. We can feel that happiness, that bliss when we look at Krishna, which doesn't happen with me. So when we read scripture in our classes here and there, and I'm going to refer some verses also, as I always say, the knowledge is not a problem. Bhagavatam is full of knowledge, full of philosophy. Prabhupada writes a realization that how he did it, what should be done. But again, the buck stops with us, that how we have actually implemented it. And particularly in a world which is changing so fast, so rapidly. So what Prabhupada is writing in the purport and what I am thinking, because situation have changed and the consciousness of people, the technology, this and that is so different now. People just don't trust each other. I think the degree of mistrusting has increased, even amongst devotees also. The cheating propensity is continuing to increase. So how do actually we do devotional service? Yes, I know that, and we particularly us who are trying to preach as a devotional service. So it's really a nightmare for me. So now I'll go to some verses which I have made some notes, which probably I'll try to put up my point. So in Bhagavatam, this Canto 1, Chapter 2, where this realization or the situation when the devotee is prasanna manaso. Yeah. So what has happened? So this is a very nice, very popular verse which Prabhupada and Maharaj have quoted many times. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavad tattva vignanam mukta sangasya jayate. So this is for us. That was Arjuna's situation, what he saw when he saw Krishna. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness. The man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. And that's where the struggle is coming. Whose mind has been enlivened by the contact with devotional service to the Lord gains knowledge. So if knowledge is okay, knowledge is coming, but if it is not even realized also, if it is not applied, that knowledge has no meaning. This is my feeling. So, but the scriptures talk about this very vividly, very clearly. Now, if you go to chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita, very famous verse, 54 number, and that's also about same prasannatma, sorry. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samah sarveshu bhutesu madbhaktim labhate param. So one, he is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and become fully joyful. So this fully joyful, that's what devotees are trying to achieve. That's where the devotional service starts. He never laments or desires to have anything, which is not my situation. He is equally disposed towards every living entities. I don't know. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So that is my struggle. When I read Bhagavad Gita, I see that, okay, where are we? Where I am at? So now this is knowledge, this is Prasannatma. And now I have got another verse I would like to refer is when Prithu Maharaj left everything, he went for sannyas, and the austerity he's performed is probably no practical. It's not even applicable. Okay, even Prabhupada has said that for Kali Yuga, chanting is good enough. But again, I will put the knowledge and the realization part of it just to bring my point that how important is applying this knowledge. So that verse is Tasyanaya Bhagavata Parikrama Suddha Sattvatmanastad Anusamsam Marana Purtya Jnanam Virakti Mad Abhunnistinyena Chicheda Sansaya Padam Nija Jiva Kosham. So here translation is by Prabhupada Srila Bhagavad Gita. By regularly discharging devotional service, Prithu Maharaj became transcendental in mind and could therefore constantly think of the lotus feet of the Lord. Because of this, he became completely detached and attained perfect knowledge, by which he could transcend all doubt. Thus, he was freed from the clutches of false ego and the material conception life. So, this whatever devotional service has been has been given to us by Prabhupada, that you do 16 rounds, followed regulative principle. And then Maharaj told us that how we should make a temple and read scriptures, go back to Bhagavatam every day and all those practice. The idea is that we become free from the clutches of false ego and the material consciousness life. That's the idea. That's what we're trying to achieve. And again, that remains my challenge, and that remains the difficulty. And then Prabhupada writes few lines in the purport, which I would like to refer. When the devotee's spiritual body begins to manifest, he actually enters into his activities in transcendent life. That's what happens when we actually start progressing, on the when devotees start progressing. And that's, again, I've heard Amrish Prabhu say that it's very personal matter. You just can't share with anyone else. And that's our struggle. When we are so materially engrossed, I'm talking about myself, even at this stage, when life is upside down, though, how do actually we do it? And then Prabhupada further writes, because Prabhupada and Maharaj have actually shown the way that how to apply this Bhagavatam in their life. They have given up, they have done preaching everything, and they have given a roadmap to us. Again, I have heard this long back from Harish Babu, that all our discipline succession has given the footmarks. We have to just follow that process. But I feel that present situation is very difficult, very different from what what I can't say they didn't know, but the Kali Yuga has actually, the way it is changing. So Prabhupada further write, as present we have contacted a material body, correct? Material mind and material intelligence. But when we become free from these material conditions, our spiritual body, spiritual mind, and spiritual intelligence become manifest. That's what we're trying to achieve. In that situation, we get that joyful situation, which Arjuna could realize. In that transcendental state, a devotee attains all the benefits of karma, jnana, and yoga. Although he never engages in fruitive activities or empiric speculation to attain mystic powers. Automatically, mystic powers appear in his service. A devotee does not want any kind of material opulence, but such opulence appear before him automatically. He does not have to endeavor for it. And that's probably keeps us going. This relation which Prabhupada is giving, that how devotees are looked after, if we are truthful, if we are serious, if you are honest, and one more word I've loved is if he's sincere. So that's my relation, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. And here Krishna Samantan Krishna Prabhu for actually conducting these programs and training us and actually teaching us how to study these verses. And thank you, Avinash Prabhuji, for your very nice realization. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, verse 51. Arjunavacha Drishtavedam Manusham Rupam Tau Saumyam Janardana Idanim Ashmi So Chetaha Prakritim Gataha. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Arjuna in his grateful, I'm now composed in mind and I'm restored to my original nature. So here, actually, I was also reading the previous verses as well. So when Arjuna actually desired, as it is actually discussed in previous verses, to see the Krishna's original form, because his mind was perturbed, with actually seeing the ghastly universal form. So he wanted to actually see the original form of Krishna, and Krishna actually manifested first he manifested his four-handed form, Narayan form, and then the two-handed human-like form, which is the original actually form, original Sham Sundar form. So here, actually, reading the purport, Srila Prabhupada has given very nice purport, and actually I was trying to meditate on those points. So the first point, actually, Srila Prabhupada points out that the Manusham Rupam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his original form is two-handed. So, because there are a lot of actually commentators on Bhagavad Gita who has actually interpreted Bhagavad Gita in incorrect manner. I also remember actually the video I saw in one of our Wednesday's program where Srila Prabhupada, I think one of the devotees, I think he was talking about Dr. Radhakrishnan. He misinterpreted the Bhagavad Gita, and I think he was also a friend of Srila Prabhupada. And later in his life, he was actually he disabled, actually paralyzed, and he couldn't able to even speak. So Srila Prabhupada says that because he misused, actually misdirected, other people and misinterpreted Bhagavad Gita. Now Krishna has taken his power of speech. He cannot speak any further. So I remember that point, actually I was reading this purport. And Srila Prabhupada is also talking on this, on the same point, this purport as well, where he's saying that there are so many other commentators on this Bhagavad Gita who are actually misguiding people by incorrectly interpreting the Bhagavad Gita verses. One of the point given here is that it is said that the instruction given in Bhagavad Gita is not actually two-handed form of Krishna. It is actually impersonal Brahman within Krishna who's actually speaking these instructions, which is so incorrect. And that's why Srila Prabhupada, actually highlighted this point. And also, that's why it's very, very important, as Amrish always emphasized, actually, the source of knowledge is very, very important. It should be bona fide. It must be coming from our actually parampara. Because even Srila Prabhupada, actually, he actually titled the Bhagavad Gita as it is. There is no contamination or any speculation. As it is spoken by Sri Krishna, it is given by Srila Prabhupada. So that's why there is so much potency in this Bhagavad Gita that actually so many devotees are actually made by just reading this book. So that one point actually is very, very important, because also I was talking to one of my relative who's actually kind of a scholar, he's the English scholar. And when we actually got into conversation regarding Krishna consciousness, and they started to actually, they always argue with us. And he said that actually he read, because he has this, I heard this concept of Anekantvad. So he's trying to explain me saying that Anekantvad means actually, whatever I'm saying, I'm actually correct in my position. Whatever everyone is saying, they are correct in their position. So that was very interesting to hear, but doesn't make sense at all, because how can everyone be actually correct in their position? Because we're all imperfect with the imperfect senses and limited intelligence. And so we had actually a lot of discussion, and I actually, because we have actually studied this instruction in our program, we can able to actually logically prove that actually that doesn't make sense. Because if everyone is correct in their position, then there are so many actually demon-like personalities in the past. For example, even Hitler, who has actually committed the genocide and all that. How can we say that he's correct in his position? Or there's so many criminals, who are actually committing a lot of sins against other human beings or even actually other living entities. We can't able to say that they are correct in their position. So the point is that actually the knowledge we get, the source of knowledge is very, very important. And we're so fortunate that we come in actually contact with, his Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada and their instructions, that we are not misguided like this. Otherwise, we would be also, supporting such theories. So actually the source of the knowledge and association, because even there are so many educated people, they can easily get misguided by various theories, presented by other actually so-called commentators. So that one point actually I realized. And also here, actually, Arjuna, after seeing the actually original two-handed form, the Shamsundar form of Krishna, he said that he's actually, he feel that I'm now composed in my mind and I'm restored to my original nature. So the two-handed form was so beautiful, so it's all attractive form of Krishna, which is actually, as compared to the actually universal form, universal form is very ghastly and actually is very fearful as well, as we studied the previous verses. So just actually seeing the two-handed original form of Krishna, actually Arjuna is feeling quite satisfied. He's composed. His mind is actually calm, and he's saying that he's restored his original nature. So actually, Arjuna actually, he has attained the Krishna here. So even we are actually trying to follow this path. We try to be Krishna conscious somehow. And actually, Srila Prabhupada has actually given these instructions that actually in this Kali Yuga, as Avinash Prabhu also said, there's just a chanting of holy name, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is sufficient to actually become a Krishna conscious, or actually realize our original nature, original constitutional position. So because Arjuna has attained that nature or position, he's feeling very composed and happy. So our aim is also the same, that actually Krishna is the ultimate aim. So there is a verse that I remembered in Bhagavad Gita, Vyavsa yatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahu shakahi anantasya buddhayo vyavasayanam. So the Vyavsayatmaka buddhir ekeha kurunandana. So one who are resolute on this path of becoming Krishna conscious, their aim is one, that is Krishna, the Vasudeva Paragati. So that is the ultimate aim of everyone's actually life in this human form, that we try to attain Krishna. So our mood is like that, we're searching after Krishna, and probably we never going to attain Krishna. But actually, by try to follow these instructions, actually given by our actually previous acharyas and our actual Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, even we actually maintain the same mood and try to execute their instructions, probably we can able to achieve this aim of actually realizing our original constitutional position. So that is actually the servant of the Krishna, and the servant of the servant of the servant of the Krishna. So that way we can actually become a Krishna conscious, and probably we can also achieve the similar nature, or actually we also feel composed and actually attain the tranquility. So we can actually begin our actually pure devotional service. So these are actually the point. There are many other points actually I was trying to meditate, but these are the 2 points I actually realized that I wanted to share. So thank you, devotees, for giving this opportunity and share my realization. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotee. Thank you, Avinash Prabhu. Thank you, Shitla Prabhu, for your nice realization. And thank you, Amrish Prabhuji. Thank you, Purnamada Devi Dashi Mataji. Thank you, Krishna Samarpan Krishna Das Prabhu, for giving us an opportunity to give our realization and training us. We are in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, verse 51, the universal form. Arjun Uvacha Drashtedam Manusham Rupam Tava Saumyam Janardana Idanim Asmi Samvruttaha Sacheta Prakutim Gataha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, my mind is now pacified and I am restored to my original nature. So, Avinash Prabhuji has very rightly said that what Arjuna, after seeing this two-handed form, Arjuna is satisfied and he's composed and he's peace. He's got a peace. So the same way we should try. All I must try that to be in peace. But for that we need to have one should have the source of knowledge, and that knowledge we getting through Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, Gurudev, mercy of the Gurudev, and association of the devotees. So initially, actually, Arjuna was overwhelmed, like when he saw the Krishna's Vishwarup, but he found peace and comfort when when Lord returned to his two-handed form. So, and for that, we need a loving relationship with Krishna. Our bhakti is important, our devotion is important to bring inner satisfaction and peace, just just like Arjuna experienced here after seeing Krishna's original form. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 29, it's confirmed that the Bhoktar Yadna Tapasam Sarvaloko Maheshwaram Hridam Sarvabhutanam Jnatva Mam Shantim Ruchati. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be ultimate beneficiary of the sacrifice and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attain peace from the pangs of material miseries. So here, what Srila Prabhupada is trying to give us a formula, rather. Srila Prabhupada says that the greatest piece of formula is here. Lord Krishna is a beneficiary in all human activities. When one should offer everything to the transcendental service to the Lord, because he is the proprietor of all the demigods, even the demigods. No one is greater than him. So what what's Krishna consciousness mean to us? To work in the full knowledge and one's relationship with the Supreme Lord, and try to be truthful, sincere in whatever we are we are following the process of the disciplic succession. Also in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 47, Srila Prabhupada is Srila Prabhupada says that, okay, I'll read the verse. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatentaratmana श्रद्धावान भजते यो माम स मे युक्तम तमो mataha. And translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. And of all yogis, the one with the great faith who always abides in me, think of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So Srila Prabhupada says that it's a great fortunate for all of us, for me, to come in this Krishna consciousness on the path of bhakti and to become well situated according to the Vedic direction. The ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Shamusundar, who is beautifully colored as a cloud, whose lotus-like face is effulgent as the sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewels, and whose body is flower garlanded. Illuminating all sides is his gorgeous luster. The Lord, incarnates in different forms like Ram, Nrsimha, Varaha, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he descends like a human being as the son of Mother Yashoda, and he is known as Krishna, Govinda, and Vasudev. So if one remains fully consciousness of these features of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada said that he is on the path of getting the highest yogi. So those great souls who have implicate, like one should have the faith. Srila Prabhupada says that one should have a strong faith in both Lord Krishna and spiritual master to improve our knowledge. So bhakti is more important, and also while doing the bhakti, one should try to free from the desire for material profit, either in this life or even next life. So one should try to away from um, like profit, or only working for the material desire. So how bhakti is important is that um, one should be experiences direct connection with Krishna and bringing last peace and bliss, which Avinash Prabhu has already mentioned that it is very difficult for us to be in that, what Arjuna is experiencing. But at least we should try our level best to. At least I should try my level best to be in the uh, real uh, devotional service. And the real purpose of life is is not material success, but it is pure devotional service that I should try to uh, focus on that. I'll also, Srila Prabhupada says that uninterrupted bhakti. So that uninterrupted bhakti, and that will give me that inner satisfaction and freedom from the anxiety. So when we hear more about Krishna, the more joy, more peace we can experience it. That too, provided if you are sincere, honest with your devotional service, and to follow the parampara system through our uh, devotional service, through Srila Prabhupada's book and guidance, and from Maharaj. So the more we hear about Krishna, I should get the peaceful and the joy that then bhakti will purifies, and then will bring the real peace, and sincerely chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, this is my realization.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhu, Her Grace Purna Pragya Devi Dasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samarpan Krishna Prabhu for organizing this wonderful class and giving us the chance to share our realization. Jai Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, and thank you for Sopan Prabhu for your nice realization, focusing on how we should perform pure bhakti and how important is performing the pure bhakti. And thank you, His Grace Sheetal Prabhu, for sharing very practical realization on that, how the source of knowledge is very important, means and in right association. And this leads to the His Grace Avinash Prabhu's realization. Thank you very much, His Grace Avinash Prabhu, for that. As Guru Maharaj also said, that knowledge has to be digested. So it has to be practically implemented. So that's very, very nice, different angles of realization. So thank you very much, all the devotees, for sharing the realizations. So I'll recite the verse. Arjuna Vacha Drishtavedam Manusham Rupam Tav Somyam Janardana Idanim Asmi Samvrittaha Sachetaha Prakirtim Gataha. Translation by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, my mind is now pacified and I am restored to my original nature. So my realization is that that here it is clearly explained that Krishna's original form is two-handed human-like form, which is very beautiful. Actually, next coming verses, Krishna will explain how rare is this form is to see, and it's more elaborately we will study. But in previous verse also we have discussed about Somya Vapu, most beautiful form. So Srila Prabhupada are stressing this point on Manusam Rupam. So this is very bewildering to ordinary people, how come God be like human being, especially impersonalist, deny this and create their own theory of impersonal Brahman within Krishna is speaking, as His Grace Shital Prabhu shared the Dr. Radha Krishnan example, and that different people give different interpretations of Bhagavad Gita. So these misguiding people who do not know the real fact, and Bhagavad Gita talks about these true facts. So that's why Srila Prabhupada are saying that before that, although Bhagavad Gita is preliminarily study, but still, if we study Bhagavad Gita sincerely in the right association, we will come to know what is what. So that's equip us or open our eyes, and because there is another reference in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 11. Avjananti mam mudha manushim shritam param bhavam ajananto mam bhutam maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. So there is a word here in this verse is manushim tannum ashritam. That means assuming human-like form. So the Lord's original form is two-handed, and rather human form is made like that form. So it's not the other way around. So the word tannum is translated by Srila Prabhupada is tannum is body, and ashritam is assuming. So I can understand that the Lord doesn't have body like us, rather he assume like human being, but not human. That's where bewilderment happens. How come Lord has to accept ordinary human body, whereas he is transcendental and controls material nature? He doesn't have to come into human body to perform all his pastimes or activities. Because this is another reference in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 19, where Kunti Maharani says about this bewilderment. Maya javani kachanam agyadhokshajam avyam na lakshayese mudhadrasha nato natyadharo yatha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. So there is a curtain of deluding Maya, which stopping to see Krishna. Only by the eyes of devotional service we can approach Krishna. The word nata is artist, and natyadhara means dressed as a player, is significant, by which I can understand that to foolish observers, Lord is like an artist with dressing up like a player, and he cannot be recognized by them. That's why there were many warriors at the battlefield of Kurukshetra, but only few recognize Krishna as the supreme Godhead, like Bhishma, Drona, Pandava are the few. So Srila Prabhupada are saying that a pure devotee is not confused by misguiding commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. He knows what is what. The verses are as clear as the sun. So this is what I have understand, that even though Krishna was present there, but only few who were pure devotees of the Lord could see this Somya Vapu, most beautiful form of the Lord. Although others can see, but through the curtain of Maya. the energy of the Lord, because it is solely will of the Lord that to whom he reveals and to whom he don't want to reveal. So yes, so this is the points that I realized from this verse about the Soumya Vapu, or the most beautiful, or the original form of the Lord. The next coming verses also will talks about this when Lord Krishna is explaining more. So thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, His Grace Amrish Prabhuji, Her Grace Pul Pragya Devi Dasi Mataji, and His Grace Krishna Samarpan Krishna Prabhu for allowing us to share our realizations. And thank you all the wonderful devotees for your very nice and elaborate explanation of this verse and your realizations. So I'll just read out this verse first. Arjuna Vacha Drishtvedam Manusham Rupam Tava Somyam Janardana Idanimasmi Samvrittaha Sachetaha Prakritim Gataha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, O Janardhan, seeing this human-like form, so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind, and I am restored to my original nature. So as we have seen in the previous verse that Arjuna requested Krishna to show his four-armed form, and then Krishna showed his four-armed form, and then this two-handed form, which is very beautiful. And and this is the form which Arjuna is always having association with Krishna, because he's his friend, and they are always together. And this is Arjuna is very familiar with this form. So when he saw this Manusham Rupam, very very familiar form, Arjuna got very composed in his mind and then restored to his original nature. So this is also, I understand like that when we are in unfavorable conditions or unfavorable circumstances, we get very agitated. Our mind gets agitated, and we actually we are not settled that time. But as soon as we come to our original form of Krishna consciousness, and then we do our chanting sincerely, we get settled. the mind gets calm, and when the mind is calm, we are settled, and that time the devotional service is very joyfully performed, not in a agitated state. It cannot be done like that. So for doing the devotional service, the mind has to be calm, the mind has to be settled, and with that settled mind we can do the devotional service. The other point is here that Sheetal Prabhu ji has very nicely explained here that how people misguide the reader by claiming that it is the impersonal Brahman within Krishna speaking is doing the greatest injustice. So it should not be, because Srila Prabhupada from the very beginning of the Bhagavad Gita purports has started stressing in each and every purport that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. He is the speaker of Bhagavad Gita, not some impersonal Brahman which people claim. So we have seen that lots of people, big speakers and also motivational speakers, they take advantage of Bhagavad Gita, they take the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, but they don't give the credit to Krishna, because Krishna is the original speaker of Bhagavad Gita, and he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Everything is coming from him, because Krishna is to Bhagwan Swam, he is the Bhagwan. But people don't want to accept that fact, and they put their own mind into the subject matter. They want to take the credit himself, which is so wrong. Krishna says that aham sarvasya prabhavan matta sarvam pravarti iti mattva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanuta. Only those people who understand that he is the original person, he is the everything is coming from him, Krishna. So those are the people, and Krishna gives them dadami buddhi yogam tam. He says that he gives intelligence to those people, and then they come to the devotional service. Not those people who have got their own motives, they cannot do the devotional service. And that's why Srila Prabhupada has given the word devotional service, not some other word for that. So very nicely Srila Prabhupada has explained that service, that devotion has to be service, because without service it's useless. Only sentiments are no good. Also, I realized that Krishna as Paramatma sitting in each and every living entity's heart is guiding him or her. And then what is our position? We are so insignificant. We are nobody. But still, Krishna takes care of everyone in the whole universe. He takes care of all of us. But it's just us who are not looking towards him. And as soon as we start chanting sincerely, as soon as we turn our face towards him, then we get the original nature which has been written here, and that our original nature is to serve Krishna. And that service, once we start doing, we feel so satisfied, and that bliss we can feel. So the only thing is how much and how sincerely we do that service. As soon as we do it sincerely, we fully surrender, then Krishna is always there. He's always looking for us, our attention. And if we pay our attention to him, he will 100 times give more attention to us. So to get his pure love, is the us we have to take steps towards him. So that is my realization for this verse. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, really okay? Can everybody hear me okay? Really?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you very much for your wonderful realizations. Very practical also. So Shitar Prabhu and Narota Mataji, since the time that you left and joined us, there's one small change that we have done, that I have requested devotees to listen to others' realizations and incorporate that in their realizations too. So that you must have realized, hopefully. If not, then your hearing, you have to be a bit more sharper, you know. So the reason for this is that otherwise we just speak our realization. That's what I felt, you know. We're just talking about ourselves and we're done, we finished. Then we lose focus. We do something else and we're not interested in what others speak, you know. Others give their realizations. So if we listen to others' realizations, incorporate them, then obviously we can add to our knowledge. Otherwise we don't add anything to knowledge, you know. Yes. So due to time paucity now, I think all of you have very, very wonderfully covered different aspects of bhakti. Just few pointers I wanted to just share. WECAN elaboration of this would be very, very long. Now also on the coming Monday, we have Lord Nityananda's appearance day. And to discuss about Lord Nityananda, even basics, it's very high philosophy, you know, very deep. So even I do not understand what to speak about sharing. And even if we share very basics, that becomes very deep, you know. So here, if we have somewhat from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we understand that Krishna's first form is Balaram, is Lord Nityananda, and Lord Nityananda then further expands. So, in the last two verses, it is mentioned how Krishna from the universal form shows the 400 form and the 200 form. This is the backward process, backward integration. So that's the reason why Srila Prabhupada says that those who deride Krishna as if he is an ordinary person, as shown here, to be ignorant by his divine nature, of his divine nature. If Krishna is like an ordinary human being, then how is it possible for him to show the universal form and then again to show the 400 Narayan form? So it is very clearly stated in the Bhagavad Gita that one who thinks that Krishna is an ordinary person and who misguides the reader by claiming that it is the impersonal Brahman within Krishna speaking is doing the greatest injustice. This is Dr. Radhakrishnan's theory, which was referred here in today's discussion as well. Now, Krishna we have discussed in the past few weeks that Arjuna, being a devotee of Krishna in Bhakti Yoga, he is used to seeing Krishna in 200 forms. The Narayan form, which we see, the 400 form, exists in the spiritual world. Krishna doesn't show his pastimes in the Vaikuntha planets. His pastimes are limited to Dwarka, Dham, Mathura Dham, and Gokul. That's it. And these are unlimited pastimes. The unlimited living beings living in those realm, which is far beyond even the spiritual sky, which is the Vaikuntha planets. Although it is in the spiritual sky, it is hidden, it is unknown. And we are trying to approach that spiritual sky because we are following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you are following other sampradayas, they may worship Vishnu in 400 forms. It is also perfect, nothing wrong with it. It's great. It is going to Vaikuntha planet is utterly ultimate. Here, Mahaprabhu talks about the gopis' love for Krishna, and we have seen in the Srimad Bhagavatam how the gopis know about Arjuna to Krishna. So when they were talking to Krishna, trying to convince him not to leave them, they also addressed him as a friend of Arjuna. So this is their relationships, it's their internal realm. And we have to somehow try to understand that realm and reach there. So we all know our work cut out, what are we supposed to do, how much time we have got, we do not know. So we have to be very, very, very particular about every moment. Is this moment, is this activity making me remember Krishna or making me remember myself? Because making me remember myself is something which we always do, feeling good about our own self. When we become important dignitary, when we become important person. Also, I just wanted to share these few important points. That's it, because the time paucity, we should stop here now. And hopefully, when Guru Maharaj 16th God's mercy, we can talk a bit deeper on the subject on this. Because everything else, apart from Krishna, is from the form of Lord Balaram or Nityananda Prabhu. Jai. Shri Nityananda Ram ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Srila Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai. Srila
Jai.
Gaurachandra Premanande.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you,
Any
Prabhuji.
question
Thank you,
anybody has
Prabhu.
got or anything you want to share, please let us know. Otherwise, we'll complete the discussion now. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaurachandra Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Shri
Hare
Bhagavad
Hare
Gita
Bol.
ki Jai. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram.